What's up, people? One Up Punch here. Picked up this game called MAHOKENSHI for $25 on Steam. Wanted to show it off, and there's going to be a cutscene coming up that I want people to check out. But mainly when I got this game and I started playing it, I had to change my language settings to English when it was French, and my resolution from 3280 to 1080p.
In the most remote islands of the Celestial Realm, rumors of rebels and uprisings are common. But more recent rumors speak of dark forces and villages being destroyed. You have been sent to investigate.
The main reason why I want people to watch that cutscene and listen to it is because the translations for a lot of the English stuff doesn't really work out, even in early access games. Like, for example, I tried playing one called Depersonalization, where the English translation was just terrible, and I'm kind of waiting for a better voiceover from that. But what is MAHOKENSHI in itself? It's a roguelite that has a hex map, and then the turn-based mechanics of an RPG, but using cards. So when you get into combat, it's going to be mostly just using like cards such as defense, dashing, attacking. Then you have your 4 mana or action points in the bottom left corner of the screen with your deck. Then at the right side of it, you have the end turn, which is the hourglass, and then a speed. So if you want to go faster than normal speed, if the turns are taking too long, you can just do that. But this is the combat of MAHOKENSHI. Getting into it, essentially you have your cards that allow you to attack and dash. Like you have a free card that does 3 dash for your horse, or a 1 safe travel, and then they have the terrain itself. The terrain has different properties. For example, if you go into a forest or plain area, it's a little bit easier to move with like 1 or 2 movement. But when you get into the mountainside, cliffside, or even the harder to reach areas, it's going to take more of your movement per turn. That's even during the safe travel, not even in combat. So if you're going to do like harder to reach areas or even traverse different terrain, highly recommend playing the Tengu that has flight, because flight doesn't really do anything with movement. You don't lose anything when you go into a mountainside or a normal plain area. Then you have your special attack cards that do defense, allow you to have a barrier, or just really allow you to escape. And that's pretty much what this is. You have the different cards that show what they're about to do on the right-hand side, shows their attack, how they act, and a lot of the different enemies that you play in the game. But essentially, for $25, does this game have problems? Other than the English translation stuff and maybe even messing around with the resolution, it hasn't crashed on me yet. There are some frame dips here and there that I had issues with, but it wasn't so much that it was like I had to quit the game or I had to go mess around with the folder. The other thing I forgot to mention when it comes down to the map is that there's different locations you could choose from. For example, when you're done with the tutorial, you go into this hub world and they talk about the realms and the different missions you can go and mess with. They also have, other than main missions, side missions right next to them that'll be smaller talismans on the map. Then you have challenges, and you could also do unlocks when you get crystals. When you obtain the crystals after doing a run or finishing some type of mission, they allow you to get additional damages or buffs for your character. They'll have the Way of the Sword, Way of Humility, and Way of Valor. Way of Valor and Humility, I think those are like card draw or additional gold, and then the Way of the Sword is more for damage and strength. Then you have your different missions that are timed, so watch out when doing them because they could be from stopping an Oni in 20 turns or dealing with a group of bandits.
How have these vile creatures reached the Celestial Islands? Pits tainted by corruption serve them as gateway. They must be sealed if the Celestial Realm is to be saved, and only you have the power to do so.
After that cutscene, you do see the different houses here in MAHOKENSHI, the different characters you play as. For example, the first character you play is a Tengu, and she allows you to fly, have a barrier, and move a little bit faster in the battlefield. Then you have the other samurai, which is, I think, the Sapphire House, and they go off of defense and being able to charge around multiple enemies. So I think right now, with my one current playthrough of trying to stop the Oni, I'm using that character for high defense so that if I do hit him, I don't take a crap ton of damage because of his reflect damage if I hit him. So, essentially with MAHOKENSHI, for $25, what do I think? I put about an hour into it my first session, and I do like it. I like the combat, I like the art style, I like the cards, I like a lot of the different choices you have, and some of the time missions too are pretty fun. Even though it does become incredibly difficult after the tutorial. And for some reason, the tutorial just felt like, you know, a kind of a freebie or gimme. When you get into the main game and start talking about the other missions or trying to do the other, like, time stuff, like stop a pit from summoning a shit ton of devils and demons into the world, or a literal Oni that's going into some temple trying to destroy everyone and kill them all, it does become incredibly difficult because you don't know what to do. You think, oh, I have to stand there and kill a bunch of enemies or just run at the one thing that's currently coming my way. But you also level up every time the run's over, and you'll get some additional prizes or relics as well. But that being said, I mean, I did spend $25 on Fights in Tight Spaces, and that game, after 300 hours of play, I mean, I still go back and play it every once in a while. So with this, they do have content, they do have a lot of different unlocks, and then maybe the missions being always different since it's a roguelite. Who knows? But personally, I wanted to show this off to you guys and my experience of playing MAHOKENSHI. If you want to check it out, it's $25 on Steam. Maybe if you can check some other websites, it might be cheaper. But I've been one nut punched, and this has been another video. Thanks for watching as per the usual, and like I said, if this is something you're into, recommend picking it up. Otherwise than that, it's probably just another game that you might have to wait for a sale, and then get it out when it's cheaper. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.